Alright, so I'm watching this show called The Watcher on Netflix. It's about 7 episodes. They range from 45 to 50 minutes apiece. So let's just check out episode 1. We start off with this couple and their family, Nora and her husband Dean, and their son and daughter Ellie and Carter. They're about to move to this new house on the area they call 657 Boulevard. They say it a lot. Well, anyway, it's a nice house, got a nice pool and everything. It's popping. Now in the house, you got a couple people in there, basically people trying to make a couple offers and whatnot. But it turns out this one couple is actually their neighbors. And in this new house, they got this old school dumbwaiter. For those that don't know what a dumbwaiter is, it's basically like an elevator in your house for the sole purpose of putting food on it. You know, for like senior citizens and handicapped that can't keep going up and down the steps, they would have somebody in there make the food and then send it up in the little dumbwaiter thing. So you're thinking to yourself, why is this old contraption in this brand new house? Then Nora ends up meeting this lady by the name of Karen. Turns out this is somebody she knew from a long time ago. But Karen is actually the realtor putting the house up for sale. Then you got this couple of neighbors, they all mean mugging them and shit. I'm like, what's going on with these neighbors? So basically, Dean's ready to buy this house. He wants to make an offer. Bottom line is there's a couple offers ahead of him. But Karen's going to fit him on the list. So when he gets back to his job, he's got to organize some stuff. And he's got to take out this big ass loan. What he's going to do is mesh a bunch of stuff together. So hopefully he'll have enough to be able to take out this loan or whatever. 6 weeks later, they end up getting the house. So throughout this time, they're enjoying the house. Her daughter Carter is getting a piano. Or daughter Ellie, my bad. Mom ends up getting Carter a ferret. Yeah, basically a pet. Everything's going all good. Dean gets the clap in Nora's cheeks. Meanwhile, Ellie's walking around the house. She keeps hearing these noises like somebody's playing something, but don't nobody else hear nothing. So after a while, each day they keep getting all these disturbances. They go outside and find the next door neighbors on their property. But it's like they always talk about, yeah, we always planting rutabagas on this side or whatever like that, but they're on this side of the property or some shit like that. Basically, Dean tells them to get the fuck off his property. But the neighbors are mad. It's like, yeah, we've been doing this for about 20 or 30 years. So now he got beef with the neighbors. Neighbors like, yeah, we got our eyes on you. Then he ends up getting this letter in the mail from somebody named The Watcher. The letters talk about seeing y'all in the neighborhood. We run 657 Boulevard. You got some nice kids, all this other stuff. We were like, who the fuck is this person watching them? Basically, some type of threatening letter, so they end up going to the police. Police basically saying they can't do nothing about it. There's never been no crime in this area, maybe a couple disappearances. It's like, what disappearances? Nora's like, well, can you run some DNA scans on it or something? I mean, like, check the writing or something? He says, I'll see what I can do. It'll probably take about a month, though. So while that goes down, next day, like Dean comes home from a hard day at work, everybody's in the house. The next day, Dean's getting ready for work. He's like brushing his teeth. All of a sudden, he turns around. The fucking next door neighbor Jasper's in his house with his goddamn newspaper. I'm like, how the fuck did he get in the house? So he kicked him out the house and started reading his newspaper. As he's kicking him out the house, the other neighbors are like, hey, can you tell your daughter to stop playing that piano? First off, their house is far away from shit from them. It's like, yo, how the hell they even hear the piano for one? Two, she's playing it in her house. That's her own goddamn business you want to play the piano. Like, nigga, how about you stop planting rutabagas on our side of the property? Then we get this one scene where Carter's playing with his little ferret or whatever. And he wants to ride him up and down the dumbwaiter. I'm like, okay. And he opens up the dumbwaiter. All of a sudden, Jasper's sitting in that bitch. We're like, how the fuck did he get in the dumbwaiter? So then Dean kicks him out once again, tosses him out the property. But then his landlady came through and was like, hey, what are you doing? And she's like, everybody that's lived here, even for the last 20 years, have let him always play in the dumbwaiter. I keep thinking to myself, one, why the fuck would you let somebody play in a goddamn dumbwaiter? Two, how the hell does he keep getting in the house? So she starts talking about trees all of a sudden, and then Dean sarcastically is like, yo, maybe I'll start chopping all these damn trees. And she's like, you're coming in thinking you're going to take over everything, but bottom line is, this land has been up for hundreds of years. And then she's like, yeah, I got my eyes on you. Why does everybody have their eyes on them? Man, these people seem strange. Made me think back to the cop talk about disappearances and shit. I'm like, and I just remember something. The cop said something about, yeah, you know, we're going to do our best to keep you safe. I know how hard it was for you to get this position or whatever like that. I know it's hard for you to get this house. And I was thinking to myself, how the fuck does this cop know about their financial affairs? I keep saying cop, he's basically like the sheriff or whatever. So then they called this guy to fix up security or whatever like that. They got this little guy over here. He's supposed to charge him like $7,000 for like a bunch of different cameras or whatever like that. It turns out he's only like 19 years old. This is actually his company. But then as he's looking around the perimeter, he sees Ellie in the pool or whatever. Ellie gets out the pool like, don't even think about it. I'm jailbait. But starts smiling at him and shit. I'm like, because he's like 19 and she's like 16. But he ain't gonna let that fuck up his money. He's just gonna do his job. So one particular night, they're all sleeping, the ferret's back in his cage, but then the ferret gets out of his cage somehow. It shows him walking around the house till he gets to a certain bedroom. Then all of a sudden, a hand comes out of nowhere and grabs the ferret. Carter wakes up the next day looking for his ferret. He sees the hallway, sees the ferret laying in the hallway, dead as shit. Who killed the ferret? They get the same police officer to come by. He ain't doing shit. He's like, look, we'll be able to give some more information as long as you get those cameras set up or whatever. But at this point, I'm thinking to myself, anybody can sneak in this goddamn house. Hell, Jasper done stuck in there twice. I'm like, do these people lock their doors? Then we get the scene where Nora's talking to Karen. And then Karen gives this backstory about how her husband left her. Kept talking about he was terrible at sex, and one day he just decided to up and leave. So she said, fuck him, got on our financial shit, and took the house. And I guess he's struggling somewhere. And I guess that's how she became a realtor. So we got this one little montage where the family's just like doing stuff. Then they show all the neighbors looking at the house and shit. Then it's like nighttime and all of a sudden Karen drives by the house. I'm like, what the fuck is Karen doing there at night? Is there some plot thickening? It's not like she was going there to visit or something. She was just casually driving by. I'm like, what the hell was she doing there at night? Then Dean wakes up the next day to get the mail and he finds another letter from the Watcher. The letter's talking about, I know your kids' names. One likes to play the piano, one likes to collect ferrets. He was like, whatever you do, I wouldn't take my kids down to the basement. The basement is a little bit further from here. I see you running around the house like a madman. All this crazy ass shit that's in this letter says, I am the Watcher. While he's scrambling around looking at this letter, he finds out his kids are fine, his wife is fine, but he notices there are no neighbors, nobody's in the streets looking at them. So we're like, where the fuck are all the neighbors at? And basically that's how the first episode ends. Like I said, it's about 7 episodes. I'm gonna see what's going on with it. We're gonna find out who the real Watcher is and get it popping. You already know what time it is.